Hello. This video is by request. This video is going to be about how to get started on Magic Online. Magic Online is a pretty old, pretty weird program that has a lot of cool things about it and a lot of dumb stuff about it. The basic thing, right, is you just go to Google and you just Google like getting started Magic Online download, right? Google mtgo download, right? Boom, mtgo download, Magic Gathering download. You download the thing, right? So the way it works when you first get a new account is you can't trade with anyone, but in the store there's a little pack. I don't exactly remember what the hell it's called. It's like new player starter kit or something like that. And once you get that for $5, it's only $5. And once you have that for $5, you get a bunch of new player points, and you can use those to enter. You can go to the limited, and you can go to Gauntlet, and then you can go new to mtgo Gauntlet, and you can use these 2 new player points. And you can use these player points. They'll give you a deck, and you can use this to play in these new to Moto gauntlets. And if you win, you get 3 rounds. And if you go 3-0, you get 10 play points. Now, what are play points? So play points here are basically your store credit on Magic Online. Play points can be used to enter Magic Online events, but they can't be traded. Now, event tickets are basically your dollar bills, right? This is $1. You go to the store here, you go to featured, Magic Online event ticket. You can buy them for $1. You can buy them from other websites like Card Hoarder, sponsor of the stream, for less money than this. So I'd recommend doing that. Also, those websites give you deals and stuff like that, but you can also buy them right from the ship itself. But one ticket is $1, basically. That's what you got to think. One ticket is $1. Now, 10 play points is 1 ticket. Okay. So if you let's look at the modern events here. Let's look at the modern 2-player queue, right? It's 2 event tickets or 20 play points. The modern league is 10 event tickets or 100 play points. So 1 ticket is 10 play points. Okay. So you also sometimes earn Showcase Championship Series QPs for whatever month you're playing. These are for when you win, when you do well in a league, whatever you earn them. Basically, those are for very specific weekend events for larger tournaments. You can go to this website called mtgoupdate.com and they have a schedule of all the events. Like you see this limited WoW thing. They're not on Magic Online because they usually patch these big tournaments on Wednesday, right? They run a little patch on Wednesday, and you see like Pauper Qualifier, Limited Qualifier, Pauper, Limited, Pauper, Qualifier, Limited. These red events, see the you can only enter them with QPs, right? So these 40 QPs. So if you play in a league, right? Let's say you enter this modern league, and you view the prizes and you see the 5 Magic Online QPs, Season 3, right? These QPs get you access into these red events, okay? Some of the red events you can also enter with tickets and play points, but a lot of these you can only enter in QPs. So people will generally enter these limited QPs just to get value from them and just to open 6 packs and then not even play. I remember a couple of weeks ago, there was a limited WoW qualifier where like 300% of the 600 entry fees just took their packs and dropped. So this weekend, there's quite a lot of these. It's making it so I'm going to have to play Pauper, which I don't really like, but we'll play some Pauper this weekend. And that's an example of the different currencies. So that's your base currency. There's your play points, your store credit, your cash, which you can use to trade for tickets and such. You just go to trade, and I would recommend keeping it simple. There's two good websites. There's GoatBots, right? Which you could just look up the price of any card. Let's say you want to get Agatha's Soul Cauldron, for example, right? Let's say you want to buy this. You can get it for the foil version. The foils generally sell for less on Magic Online. They sell for less and they sell for less. Like, they will sell them for less and they will buy them back for less. Like, you notice there's like not much of a gap here, but there's a larger gap on foils. Foils are not really that popular on Magic Online, so foils generally, they're cheaper and they sell for less money. So you should tend to avoid foils if you're going to play on Magic Online, because the cards resell for less. Let's take a random card like Yawgmoth, Thran Physician, right? Because this is about Yawgmoth. And these foils here, they're buying them like a regular one. An MH2 regular one is they're buying for $466, and the foil one, they're selling it for more but buying it for less. That's just a trend on Magic Online. You'll see foils, they're harder to resell because they're not worth as much. So be careful when you're buying your collection, because when you eventually want to sell your cards or sell whatever, try to avoid foils unless you really like them. If foils are your jam, then do it. But if they're not your jam, then I would avoid doing them for sure. So when you're buying your cards, whatever, use this. One thing you could do is compare prices. The website that I use that is a sponsor of the stream is Card Hoarder. And Card Hoarder, what I like to do is I like to compare the different, like let's say I want to buy Agatha's Soul Cauldron, right? You can come over here and you can type in Agatha's Soul Cauldron, right? So you can look up and you can compare. So this is if you buy it with, if you sell it to them, it's 49 tickets. If you want to buy it from them, it's 54 tickets and 50 cash. So basically, I personally just use these two websites. Card Hoarder is a sponsor of the stream, and let's compare Agatha's Soul Cauldron, right? So like if I want to pick up Agatha's Soul Cauldrons, the regular art is 55 tickets. They're selling it for 55 tickets, and Card Hoarder is selling it for 54 tickets. So Card Hoarder is a ticket cheaper, and you can also buy that for cash, right? Now, if you want to get, weird about it, you could be like, all right, well, this foil is cheaper, but also keep in mind that if you go to sell this foil, there's a bigger percentage dip in what they sell, what they buy it back for, right? You always have to consider that. There's always a dip when you buy foils. So let's look at the Card Hoarder foil. So to get the Card Hoarder foil, they just don't have any. They're not messing around with that. So, okay, they just don't have them. So you could save yourself $1 if you bought it here. So I basically go back and forth between the two websites. I use Card Hoarder, and these are the two websites that I use. Now let's talk about trading and getting cards. So the best way to do that, you can go to trade here, right? You're in the trades and you just type in GoatBots, goat, right? And then you can just trade. You can have different binders. Binders are kind of complicated on Moto. The way they work is you go to trade binder and then you can create your own new trade binders. Trade binders will tend to lag you. I have a cash binder where I just have tickets. These binders are kind of memes. Like, this is just cards with cool flavor text on them. This is good stuff. This is Yawgmoth Toolbox. I haven't opened this in a while, but a long time ago during a challenge, you see how it's lagging? Like, I've clicked on this binder and it's not responding. The Magic Online interface is going really slow here. So it's like a big See, it's like it's messing everything up, right? My whole screen is getting discombobulated. This is something that's happened when I've upgraded to Windows 11. Like I upgraded to Windows 11 and I definitely notice with these trade binders. This is like a part of Magic Online. It might not happen for your computer, whatever your computer ends up being. Like my stream is fine, my OBS is fine, but my loading up my trade binder is just going to crap. Like it's just lagging, everything's slow, blah blah blah. This happens. This is a part of the Moto experience for whatever reason. I don't know. I don't know why it does this. Like I can run Moto on a laptop I have that's 10 years old, and then I run it on a fancy computer, and this is what happens. This is just a part of it. So it finally loaded. Right, this is just a binder I have with all Yawgmoth cards you can play. And then I look at my other binders. This is cash. It just has all my tickets in it. And then I put all the stuff I want to trade over here. Right? So this is just random stuff that I want to get rid of. So let's say you want to load a deck here. The easiest thing to do is you can go to mtgo, right? You could go to Goldfish. You can go to look at any tournament. So we'll look at this tournament. We'll go here. We'll click on the deck, and you can just go to download text file. Then it downloads. Then you go over to on here, and you can just hit add deck. And then you just import from wherever you save the thing to. This happens to be my 17th version of Yawgmoth. It depends on what website. Like this is from MTG Top 8, where it has a different name. But from Goldfish, they just kind of come like Yawgmoth ad nauseum, blah, 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 blah. So here's Yawgmoth. I can change the name to Yawgmoth Challenge 1020. You know, you could do 1020. You can name it. You can do whatever. You get to choose a little cool little icon on Moto. Any icon you want. I like to do the colors. So Golgari. And then here's the deck. Now, if you're missing cards for this deck, like let's say I want to buy Young Wolves, right? I can go add to wish list. So your wish list is like a thing on here that lets you find stuff very easily. Like again, I'm loading it and it's gonna crash and be weird. So that's one thing to take in with trade binders is sometimes they're gonna crash and be weird and do weird things. But basically, this is the easiest way to do trades, right? Because if you sit on a bot, you can trade forever and it'll take forever, and you don't really want to do that, right? So an easy thing to do is just have what you're looking for on a wish list. Of course, it's not loading, right? Because it's being weird. But, so we're still waiting for it to stop being weird. But once it loads, you can load things to your wish list, right? Whenever it does load. And it freezes your whole Magic Online, which is really, really annoying. I wish it wouldn't do this. All right, so now these are the cards that I currently have on my wish list. I'm going to get rid of them all. And now we're going to go back to Modern. We're going to go back to that Yawgmoth deck. And let's say I don't have Young Wolves, right? So I can add to wish list. Let's say I don't have Wall of Roots. I'll add to wish list. Let's say I don't have Evolutions. Add to wish list, right? You can add the missing cards. Let's say I'm missing, what's a card? What's a random card? That I don't have. Let's say I don't have Urza's Saga, right? Urza's Saga. This is a card I just don't have. Oop. Right? I don't have any, but I can set the thing to 1 here, and then they'll show up. Right? So I'll put 4, fill the deck up with these 4. Now you see how they show up like this, that I don't have them. I can add them to the wish list. Add to the wish list. So now I could just go trade with, I like to trade with a GoatBot. I think GoatBot is just the base, a good baseline thing to do. So let's just go to GoatBots. Basically all of these are the same. You know, they have all these GoatBots, blah, 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 blah. There are differences in how and what they have for sale. Like let's say you're looking for a very specific card, right? Let's say you're looking for Black Lotus and you're looking for only the old border black lotus, right? They only have them on specific bots, right? Only specific goat bots will have access to the fancier stuff. But if you're trying to buy like regular things, like you see how every single goat bot has the other lotus, right? They all have it. But some of the fancier stuff, some of the specific borders are not going to be on every bot, but they will be on most bots. You can always double check before your order. But let's go to just random goat bots. Trade. Let's open our thing with our cash, right? Let's open our thing with our money. We're opening it up. And so now we can sit here and we can go, all right, I need young wolf, right? And then we can add to the trade binder. So the top number is how many you have, and the bottom number is how many the bot has, right? So you can look at, if we reset all filters, like I don't have any of whatever the hell this is. I don't have any of this, right? You can see the 000 means I have 0, but I have 1 curiosity, right? So the bottom number is how many the bot has, and the top is how many you have. So now I can go search tools, and I can go select wish list. And now it's the cards that I wanted from the wish list, right? It's the Urza Saga, it's the Evolution, it's the Young Wolf, right? And I can add more if I want them, or I can take them away, right? I can pick the arts I want. Obviously, I'm going to go with the old border Wall of Roots, obviously. I'm not going to go with this one, obviously. You know, and you can pick and choose what you want. And you can look on the side here, and it says the price. Right? Wall of Roots is this. Urza Saga, blah, 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 blah. So I would recommend using Card Hoarder when you're just starting off before you invest in cards. You can use Card Hoarder. You can get a rental, whatever. You can pay whatever you want to get the cards, but this is how you use bots. This is how Moto works for bots. Okay? All right. So let's close that out. That's how you get whatever deck you want. And you can load whatever deck you want, right? I can just go here. Let's say I want to see what else did well with this challenge. Let's see this Coffers deck, you know, boom. Download text file, and then you go here, modern, add deck, import, Coffers, boom. You can get any deck really, really fast, which is what makes Moto awesome. It's just the speed in which you can change decks and mess around and do whatever you want with them, right? Okay, so that's how this back of stage stuff works. Now we're going to start talking about actual gameplay, and we're going to focus on Yawgmoth. I'm going to get rid of these Urza Sagas. Now, one of the things you can do when you first step into, before you step into a game, is you have to go to your in-duel settings, right? So up here, right, there's a bunch of different settings. So animation, you can decide if you want, and if you have the card display, this summoning sick thing will go in a circle. This summoning sick thing will move. You can also animate the foil treatment so the thing like gets all shiny, but you just want to turn that off. The important thing is the input settings. This is important. You don't need any of these. You could just clear all these. Clear, 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 clear. Clear, 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 clear. You don't need any of this stuff, right? You don't need it. It's just going to confuse you. It's not going to do anything. You just need a button for OK, and then you need a button for yield. For I don't have any actions. I'm going to do nothing. I'm just going to yield through this turn. I have 2 and I have Q, right? This is very simple. You can use all these things, but you don't need to do this, yes to this, da 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 da. I literally clear everything, and I only have yield through this turn, and I have OK pass priority. These are all you need, right? When I just hit OK, 2, OK, 2, and then I'm done with my turn, I'm hitting Q. These are all you need. I would get rid of all this other stuff, disable it. You don't need any of that stuff. You don't need any of it. Retain priority after casting, that's super important for Storm players. But you just need boink, 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 boink. Nothing else, right? So now that you have these set, now you want to go into the game. Now before you play against a player, right, remember that you can play against yourself and practice. So to get familiar, to get comfortable with everything, you go to constructed here, right? And then you go to modern open play, right? And these are all people just playing. Like this person is playing no Karns, no Ulamogs, thanks, right? So they don't want to play against Karn, right? This is how you start off on Magic Online. This is what's cool about Magic Online, right? Is you can start off in these rooms playing for no stakes, and it doesn't matter, right? No Planeswalkers, no Infect, no Tribes, no Cycling, no Prowess, no Eldrazi, no Land Destruction, whatever, right? Like this is a bit over the top, right? But you can watch people, and these are just random people playing. Like we'll watch Shepherd Prime playing against Muggsy. We'll take a look. Right? This one's playing Tron. This one's playing this, right? And we're just watching. We're not doing anything. We're not touching. Hands are off. We're watching. Now, this is what a normal Magic Online duel looks like. Like Muggsy. Generally, if you're Muggsy, we would be able to see these cards, but we're just watching, right? So there are people playing these things. There's tournament practice where the decks are a little bit more serious. There's a lot more decks going on. You could just go create. You could do 2 players. You can allow watchers. You can not allow watchers. You can play against only your friends. You want to set it to anyone can join, right? And then we could just play against a random person, okay? But you can also create one and then just play with yourself, where you create a game where you're just playing against yourself. And this is very good to test with. This is very good to get used to things. You know, you have, there's literally 0 stakes. And you can just kind of see the basic flow of how the turn goes, right? If you look at me, I have stops here, I have stops here, stop, 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 right? So this is my turn, right? On my turn, I'm going to go untap. Now, the way you can change stops, so we're going to sit here and we're going to talk about stops for a minute. So these are the different stops that you have. You don't need an end of combat stop, and you don't need a damage stop. But I have had them for, I used to do a lot of limited on here, and in limited, there's a lot of combat tricks of like sacrifice an attacking creature. So you want to wait till for after damage, but before combat, you make them sacrifice an attacking creature after damage. There was a double white spell. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but it's like divine. It's divine. It's double white. I don't remember what the hell it was called, but it was a double white, do damage to attacking creature, and I remember I just set those stops on there, and that was it. I've played with these forever. You don't need them, but you do want stops in your main phase, the beginning of combat, before attackers, before declare blockers, or like after declare attackers, right? You want all these steps, right? Because you want to be able to interact with your opponent. Like if your opponent plays a Rabble Master and you don't have a stop, right? These are the stops that you generally want. You want to have all these stops in case your opponent does something. You want to have them on your opponent's turn too. I don't think you want to get used to having an upkeep stop. There's really not a lot of point to it. You can always add a stop. Like let's say you want to do something during your opponent's upkeep. You can just click it, right? Like let's say I want to add an upkeep stop. I just click it and then I can unclick it. This thing locks the bar, right? So when I go to click it, this thing lights up saying it's locked. You can't mess with this, right? This is the first thing you want to look at, right? It's locked, it's unlocked. Draw step stop, say you want to Vendilion click someone. Upkeep stop, you want to play Bowmasters during their upkeep, blah, 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 blah. You want to just click these. Also, this thing shows you all the controls. You always want to minimize that to this, right? So no important, nothing, right? Also, you want to enable animations. You want to click this off because this will go slower, right? I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play a land with the animations on, right? We'll keep. Watch how slow. So I put this land into play. You see how slow that was? I mean, it wasn't slow, right? But do you see how it tapped slow? Now we've gone to our next turn, and now I'm going to turn off animations, and I'm going to play this land. Do you see how much faster that was? Right? With the animations, I'm going to turn the animations back on. The animations make the things go fast. You see how long it takes to tap? Undo, undo. Tap for green. Do you see the tapping animation? Now, if we turn the animations off, look how fast that is, right? And the important thing about Magic Online is that there's a chess clock. There's not a chess clock in this game because I'm playing against myself, but there's a chess clock against our opponent, right? I'm going to join a random game here. I'm going to join a random for fun, no stakes game. I'm going to create a game, 2-player. Anyone can join, allow watchers, create. Right? And we'll talk about some of the stops and some of the things that we need to do when we're playing Yawgmoth. The most important part about Magic Online is the 25-minute chess clock. That is the most important part of Magic Online. There is so many games are determined by a player timing out, and you want to play and play and play and play until you become so familiar with Magic Online and how it works and everything that you don't time out. The second you stop timing out, that's when you're ready to start playing for money. But at first, so we're playing against some random person, but the important thing is speed, 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 speed. So this is game started. The die rolls up here, right? You can click here. This right here, chat, show game log. That's up here. Show game log. Show chat. Hide chat. All right, I'd like to play first. Yes. You see my clock. You see your opponent's clock. You see 60 cards, 60 cards. This is my hand. This is their hand, right? Well, we'll keep this hand. You see how I have the stop set on my opponent's turn and on my turn? So my turn, I want to play this land. I want to play the halfling. Now I have nothing to do, right? So there's two options. I can hit Q, right? Because Q is my pass the turn button. Or I can go yield through turn. Yield through this turn. There'll be a little bit of lag when it happens, but you want to be careful not to do it twice. So now my opponent killed my thing. So I'm just going to hit my Q button, yield through the turn. You want to get in the habit of using your Q button the second you're done, because that's valuable time, right? I crack my fetch, I get my forest, I go 1, 2, play wall of roots, I'm done, boom, I hit Q. I hit yield through the turn. That's how you want to be thinking of, because using seconds now to like click through every phase will take a million hours, and it's just not worth it, right? I should have fetched a black with this, but that's whatever. So you always want to be thinking about what's going on. I have no possible plays, so I yielded through the turn. So like this turn, right? I could play Yawgmoth. I'm going to do fancy Orcish Bowmaster stuff. So I'm going to go 1, 2, play a Wall of Roots. Then we're going to play Colony Garden, right? And I'm just going to F6 through the rest of the turn because I have nothing to do. Boom. Now my opponent, you can tell my opponent is still clicking through the phases, right? Because if my opponent didn't do anything, they would just pass to the end step, so they had a Bowmaster. Now, the way your opponent, on Magic Online, the way your opponent sets up their stops gives you information on Magic Online, right? So the fact that I'm not yielded through the turn means I have something, right? So now I'm going to click through all my phases. Just click through, click through, click through. So it skips the attack block step. It skips all this if they don't attack, right? And then we go to the end of combat. Okay, main phase. Okay, I'm clicking through. I'm just hitting OK. Right? I have my 2 button, which is OK. And then now it's the end step. So I want to go use wall roots. Now also remember with wall roots, you cannot undo it, right? I can't undo this 1 mana. I can tap this. I can untap it. I could tap it again. But I can't, you cannot undo wall of roots. So we hate wall of roots. So if I were to tap this mana, then use this wall of roots, right? I'm going to do it to show you. I can tap this, untap it, tap it. Now if I use this wall of roots, this other mana is locked in. This black mana is locked in. I can't undo crap. So I'm going to play my Bowmaster, and I'm going to kill I'm going to kill their Bowmaster. I'm going to kill their Bowmaster. So their Bowmaster dies. Bam, get out of here. So now it's my turn. Right? My turn. So this is good. This is great. So I'm going to play a Young Wolf here. I'm going to shock this in. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, Yawgmoth. So now with Yawgmoth here, I want to click Yawgmoth because that'll give you the activation. My opponent's conceding. My opponent is conceding, but you click Yawgmoth, click this, sack this. I'm going to come back with an opponent who's not going to concede, but I'm going to show you how to use Yawgmoth in the general. But this is just a Generals of Moto, right? Now you're sideboarding. You have 2 minutes and 50 seconds, right? So we're just playing against them. We're just going to bring in Fatal Pushes and Endurances because they're probably playing Drown of the Locks. What do we not want? We probably don't want to walk this into a counterspell. We probably don't want Fulminator Mage against a deck full of 1/1s. We probably don't want Ignoble Hierarchs against Bowmasters. Right, so we bring in these cards, we got these. So now you submit again. Right, now we're submitting again, and we're just playing. And I'm just playing against a random person for no stakes. They don't care, right? I'm going slow. They're not caring. They're not, being a jerk. And if they are being a jerk or whatever, just, like, let's say they're talking shit, just be like, okay, well, bonk. Now you don't know. There's nothing that says they're talking once you've hit that chat. Once you've hit that chat, they could be saying the worst whatever stuff, but it would be blurred out. Magic Online has a swear word filter that's catches a lot of stuff. Right? Like if I say LMAO, Lamau, right? This gets starred out, right? Start out. It's not very a mean thing to say, but they're just like, nope, LMFAO, or LN, laugh my whatever ass off, that's whatever, right? So the second you're done, just yield through the turn. You'll see a lot of streamers do this because they don't have, like, let's say I have this hand here. I only have to use the one hand for the mouse, right? So you'll see a lot of people just click through like that. You can also do weird stuff where you, like, set yields. You can do, like, this is a weird thing you can do, right? We're going to go 1, 2. We're going to attempt to play a Wall of Roots. And now we can go 1, 2. We'll walk this Soul Cauldron into a counterspell. But you could do really weird stuff where you hit my turn, yield until here, and then it's yellow, and then you can hit OK. You can go like my turn, yield until here, and then it will yield through your opponent's turn and you won't be able to do anything. Right? Like my hands are off the keyboard. I'm yielded no matter what. But I would not recommend doing that. I would not recommend doing this. Especially when you're a Yawgmoth player and you have Soul Cauldron up and stuff like this. I would not recommend doing that. So now we're probably going to wreck our opponent. We're going to go 1, cast the Yawgmoth. So our opponent could have a Stern Scolding here, but that won't even matter. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cast Walking Ballista X = 0. Right? So this way, we could put the Walking Ballista in the Cauldron. Once this goes in the Cauldron, then you could do a lot of really crazy things with the Yawgmoth. The second this goes into the Cauldron. GG's. Alright, so they didn't want to play with us and do this interaction. But I'll find someone who will just sit here and let me kill them. But I just kind of wanted to show you how important it is, how the stops work, how everything goes. I just played a game against a random person. They didn't care. You know, it's no stakes. They're playing a reasonable deck, right? I've played these decks in leagues. So basically, when you start off, you want to start in the open play till you figure out what you're doing. Then you go to the tournament practice. You just play. You play here, you play for free, and then when you think you're ready, then you move to the leagues. And when you're playing in your leagues and you're not, I would recommend staying in the tournament practice until you don't time out. Until you understand the mechanics, understand everything. I would recommend staying in the tournament practice room and just playing in here, right? And they're nice. They're nice people. You know, like that dude was nice. That person was nice. You know, Wolf Midnight is a nice I'm sure they're nice. You know, you just play against random people. And look how fast that game filled. And you can get games here. Maybe late at night it slows down. But you can get games in here. And then when you're ready for a league play, you jump into the leagues. The way the leagues work is it's $10. 10 Disney Fun Bucks. Or 100 Disney Fun Bucks. Which are the play points. And if you go 3 wins, you get 100 play points in a chest. Chests are about $2.50. $2.50. And if you go 2-1, you get 50 play points. If you go 5-0, you get 11, right? And then you get 150 play points. So you obviously want a 5-0. But once you join a league, so here's some things about leagues. You can join a league, and then you can leave. You can drop from the league. As long as you haven't played a match, you can drop. And you get your money back. Right? But you could join the league and you can play in the league as long as, you know, it goes until... So this league goes until November 14th. So we have, you know, I have like 3 weeks that I can fill this up. 3 weeks, you can play whenever you want. You can just play a league, drop, play, drop, whatever. Blah, blah, blah. You can always make sure... You can always double check what deck you registered with before you play a league match. Just to make sure you're playing the right deck. League details. Right? And you can look, and I have no trophies because I've been slacking. This dude just grinds Amulet. This dude just grinds Amulet. And she's a Yawg player, so. Amulet, Yawg. Just view your deck, make sure you're playing the right deck. And you can always drop from league in the beginning. Drop. Okay. So that's pretty much all of the basics of the non-gameplay Yawgmoth stuff. I'm going to come back in the next bit, and I'm going to find someone to play against me, and I'll talk about the Young Wolf, the Strangarukai stack of this Cauldron, the Ballista, and the Blood Artist, and stuff like that. We'll talk about all these combos in the next little bit. I'll see you in a few minutes. Okay, so I've set up against a friend of mine who's AFK, and we have our board state here. The first thing you have to notice is that any new creature that you play is going to go to the right, right? So you play an ignoble hierarch, it goes to the right, right? So when you sacrifice a young wolf here, right, the newest copy, so here's how it works. Pay with, so we have Yawgmoth. We click on Yawgmoth. Pay 1 life, sacrifice another creature, right? Now here we have a choice of targeting something. Our opponent doesn't have anything to target. So we're just going to click done, right? Because it's up to 1 creature. So up to 1 is nothing. We click nothing. And then it tells us to sacrifice the creature. You see how we can't click on the Yawgmoth? We have to sacrifice any of these other creatures, the young wolf. Now, these are the triggers come on the stack, the Undying ability. You can always right-click on a trigger, right? So you right-click on the trigger, and you can do always yield to triggered abilities from the card named Young Wolf. Boom. Yield means that the next time it happens, you won't have to click it. Now, Yawgmoth has a bunch of different targets, right? Always yield to the abilities from named Yawgmoth during position. Always yield to abilities from this Yawgmoth until end of turn. And then save targets. You don't want to ever hit save targets on Yawgmoth, because then it will just... No, never hit save targets on Yawgmoth. Always yield to abilities from card name Yawgmoth during position you control. So now, right, you see how the newest young wolf here is on the far right? We can keep bouncing things into this until we find another young wolf, right? So then we'll pay 1 life, choose up to 1 target creature, we sack it again. We're just drawing cards, right? We're pay 1 life, choose this, sack this. Now we pay 1 life, sack the young wolf. And then we shoot this, bonk. Do you see how fast it goes once you've gotten the auto yields out of the way? Pay 1 life, choose a creature, sack this. Oh, I messed up there. Pay 1 life, choose up to 1 creature. So this is the target where we target up to nothing. Done. Sacrifice the young wolf. Right? It's just not working. You always want to float mana first. We haven't found another creature. We haven't found a creature to bounce the creatures back and forth yet, which is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a creature to bounce back and forth. We didn't find one, so we'll just progress our board a little bit. Right. My opponent over there will sit through and suffer through this stuff. So you got to discard, right? Blah, 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 blah. Now it's our opponent's turn. We're just going to yield through the turn on our opponent's turn. If they're here. They're probably not here. My opponent has an upkeep stop. This is one thing that's important, is like you could see what kind of stops your opponent has. So you could see that they have an upkeep stop and they're AFK during their upkeep stop. Because we don't have a stop here. Some people have upkeep stops all the time. I think it just slows you down in the course of the long thing. Because now our opponent's just going to, whenever they come back, they're in their upkeep. So now it's our turn again. Right? And we want to... Alright. So pay 1 life. Choose up to nothing. Sacrifice the young wolf. There's... we want to float a mana. Shoot this. Sacrifice this. We're not drawing our Yawg or any of our Undying creatures. Pay 1 life. Done. Sack this. I'm not playing this creature yet because I don't want to kill my opponent. Because I want to show how the combo works. Shoot this, sack this. Alright, here we go. Here we go. Now we have 2 Undying creatures. Now remember, when you have 2 Undying creatures, right? We get our Blood Arts out. Alright, so this is lethal. Pay 1 life. Sacrifice another creature. Choose up to nothing. sacrifice the Stranglergeist. Now, the Blood Artist works like this. Blood Artist, you can save targets, right? Because you always want to target your opponent. So you go and save targets to your opponent. Boom. Now, this ability, you always want to yield for the Stranglergeist. And this, right? So we've assigned that it's going to always target our opponent. And now we yield through it. Boom. You can see how it has the corner target here. This little thing means it always has the same target. And it will always be yielded through. So now you see how this new one is on the right. So now we go pay 1 life, sacrifice another creature. Now we target the new one, right? Because this is where we want to put our -1/-1 counter. And then we sacrifice the one to the left with no counters on it. Boom. So now we have to choose how we want to stack these triggers. This doesn't matter at all. They're all auto-yielded. So now the Yawgmoth is on the right. Right? Whatever the newest creature is with the +1/+1 counter is on the far right. And you always have to... This makes it really easy, right? Because your one creature that you're always clicking on is to the right. So now you click on Yawgmoth again. Pay 1 life. You target the Yawgmoth, which is on the right. And then you sacrifice the one on the left. And you'll have to stack these triggers, right? Because these triggers happen at the same time. It doesn't matter how you stack them. And then they both go on the stack. They resolve automatically. And then click this, sack this. Then you click this. And click this, click this, click this. Then you over here, these two, doesn't matter how you click it, click. And that's how you combo with Yawgmoth online, right? Boom, 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 boom. So, that's how you do it. The newest one is always on the right. Always on the far right. So, just click, target your one on the far right, sack your one to the left of it. Click, boom. That's always just like that. Boom, boom, boom. Boom. If you notice, it's just easy movement. Once click, sacrifice, target this, click this. Then you move over here to click this, click that. Then you click your Yawg, click your Yawg, click your thing, sack your thing, bounce over here, boom. Right? Easy peasy peasy peasy. Bonk, bonk. Alright. So now we have all this set up. That's how the Blood Artist combo works. Now I'm gonna come back and I'll show you what the Cauldron combo looks like. Okay, so here's another board situation where we have Agatha's and Blood Artist and a Ballista in the graveyard. There are a lot of different combos here that kill our opponent. The easiest, simplest one, right, is if we play the Blood Artist, right, and we put the Walking Ballista in this, and we put a counter on the Stranglergeist, right? This is the easiest way to kill someone. Now you have the Stranglergeist gains the Walking Ballista ability, and then you just remove a counter and target itself. Right? Then it will die. We'll target our opponent. We'll make sure we always yield to this. Right? And that's just the easiest way to kill someone. Remove a point of damage. Target itself. Right? That's just the easiest way to do it. And then you just lethal someone, because when it dies, it triggers, right? This is the easiest way to kill someone. Right? Boink, 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 boink. You just shoot yourself, remove a counter, shoot itself. This works with the young wolf as well. Right? But you need Blood Artist in play. You need the Blood Artist in play. Right? Remove a counter from young wolf, shoot young wolf. Dies, it comes back. Right? Zulaport Cutthroat works just as well for this. Zulaport Blood Artist plus Stranglerootgeist plus Walking Ballista in the Cauldron equals lethal. Right? Just remove a counter, target themselves. Bam. And they're dead. Now remember, you can't do this if you have 1 point of damage from something else, right? So let's remove a counter here. Let's shoot this Stranglerootgeist, right? So it has 1 counter on it. Now, if I remove a counter to do 1 damage to itself, it comes back because the counter's gone. But that didn't work at all. But what's an example of that? If I pay 1 life, choose 1, sack 1 here, right? And then I do 1 point of damage to this young wolf, right? It has 1 point of damage on it. Then I shrink this young wolf with the Stranglerootgeist. Then this young wolf will die. Then it's dead forever. That's what the 1 damage is. So be a little careful with 1 damage on your thing. But it doesn't really affect this combination. Right? Remove 1 counter. Shoot the Stranglerootgeist. It dies. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Now, let's say you don't have a Blood Artist. Right? Pay 1 life. Choose a thunder creature. Let's kill the Blood Artist and sack the Wall of Roots. Now, you just have a Stranglerootgeist with a Walking Ballista counter, right? You can't kill your opponent anymore. But what you can do is you could go 1 more turn, right? You pass the turn, you untap the Cauldron. My buddy's AFK. Okay. So let's say you don't have a Walking Ballista, but you have a Cauldron and you have a Wall of Roots. Right? So now what you do, right, is you remove a counter. Remove a counter, shoot Mark Gabriel. Now this has no counter, so now you go exile, target the Wall of Roots. You put a counter on the Stranglerootgeist. So now the Stranglerootgeist has the Wall of Roots and it has the Walking Ballista. So the first thing you do is you add a green mana, 1 green mana, and it becomes a 3/1. So this way when you remove the counter, it will die as a state-based effect and it will come back with a counter on it. So we remove a counter, we shoot Mark Gabriel, our thing comes back. Right? Now we remove a counter again, remove for the green mana, remove to ping our opponent. Right? These are the two counters. These are the combos with Walking Ballista and Stranglerootgeist. It also works with Young Wolf, right? You could just play a Young Wolf. These are the big combos between the two different combos you can use, right? Where you put a counter on this, it remove the counter to make mana, or put an 0/1. Put the 0/1 on it, and then we remove a counter, shoot. Then it comes back. As long as we have the counter on the thing, we can always put a counter on it, remove a counter, shoot. So you can either have Walking Ballista plus an Undier with Blood Artist in play, and you could kill them that way, or you can go Walking Ballista, Wall of Roots, remove a counter, ping whatever, right? I could ping the Yawgmoth. Doesn't matter. I could ping, remove a counter, and then shoot someone. Shoot the young wolf. And then once the young wolf is like this, then you can remove a counter, and then you can shoot our opponent. Right? That's how this works with the cauldron. That's how you use the cauldron to kill people on Magic Online. And it's pretty easy. Like, once something gains abilities, it'll just have them. Right? It just adds to the abilities. Like, usually these sorts of things would have no ability. But with this, remove the counter, add a thing. It gets wonky when you have a bunch of different things, but these are the combos. You have Walking Ballista, Wall of Roots under the thing, and then you can kill someone this way. So remove a counter, and then kill Mark. And those are the combos with. That's how you play Yawgmoth online. I hope that helped. Basically, I would recommend just practicing in, go to the league, start a game by yourself, right? Practice until you become familiar with how it works, right? Practice, get used to yielding through things, set up your buttons so that you have very simple buttons. Pass priority, yield through the turn, just simple. And, start using them. All right, I've done nothing. I can't do anything. I'm going to hit yield through the turn, right? Now it's my next turn. I'm going to go blah, blah, play this, and now I'm done. Now I'm done. Now I'm just going to hit yield through the turn, right? If you have yield through the turn on, it will automatically stop you in the attack phase, and you can always right click and then you can hit turn off auto yields. And then that little arrow goes away, and then you have control of yourself for the rest of the turn. Okay? You can always go right click, yield through turn, bonk. But it's good to get in the habit of using both. In the beginning of the game, when you're going slow, right click yield works. But what's faster? This, or just hitting the Q button or whatever button you have, right? When you yield, it will always give you the attack phase, right? But those are the important things on Magic Online. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments for this thing, and I'll try and answer them. I hope this video helped, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.